Morning, everybody.
Today is the 14th day of Iyar, and the 14th day of Iyar is known as Pesach Sheni, the second Pesach. What's the source of that? So in the times of the Jewish people when they left Egypt, times of Exodus, they were, the second year, they were commanded again to make a carbon Pesach, and there were those that were not able to participate because they were impure. Why were they impure? Because they were carrying the remains, the bones of Yosef. And the law is that if you're impure, you cannot partake and participate in the sacrifice of the Pesach, the carbon Pesach. So they came and they complained to Moshe Rabbeinu. They were exempt, they didn't have to do it. But they complained, they said, Lama Nigara, why should we be left out? Why should we not be able to partake in the carbon Pesach? It's not fair. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, I'm going to ask Hashem. And the answer he received was that because they asked and they wanted it, so a new law, a new mitzvah was given, that there is going to be a second chance to make up for Pesach, and that will be exactly a month later. And not only was that a one-time thing, but this will be also set up in the future that if should be such a situation that somebody was not able to, they were in a far on the road, they couldn't make it to the Beis HaMikdash, they couldn't come to the place where everybody's doing it, and they did it on purpose. They didn't want to do it for whatever reason. Nevertheless, they will have the opportunity to make up for it on a month later, the second chance. Now, this is a very, very powerful thing. Think about it, because it's brought down that if somebody does not participate in carbon Pesach on purpose, they're chayav kares. It's a big no-no. So here, they're able to revert that. They're able to change that. So there is a very, very powerful lesson from Pesach Sheni. And the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, the sixth Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, the Frierdiker Rebbe, known as the previous Rebbe, he would make a big emphasis on this and say that we learn from this that it's never too late to rectify a past failing. Even if a person has failed to fulfill a certain aspect in his or her mission in life, meaning to say they touch the dead, what means a person has in contact with their death, they didn't do anything in their life. Death is nothing, and life is accomplishing. So if a person in their personal service to God, they have contacted death, they touched death, they didn't do anything, so you think it's too late, they can't do it. So you say, no, just like you didn't do first Pesach, you could do the second Pesach. So too a person could do tshuva, and the tshuva is like the Pesach Sheni. They could come back and they can make up for what they missed out. Now, what is it? How do they make up for what they missed out? They can take their experience, their negative experience that they had, and they could elevate that experience to something positive. For example, if somebody came in contact with somebody that passed away, you see a dead person, you realize how precious life is. You realize what you're missing and how precious it could be. So too, if somebody did something wrong, they have this yearning to God, they have this return, this level of going back, and they don't want to do that again, so they appreciate now what they want to do even more than if they would have never gone in the wrong path. So there is a life, there's an extra light that a person could bring back with them in this tshuva, and they can make up for past times, and they could elevate themselves into a place even greater, perhaps, than even a person would have never done a sin. So this is a very powerful lesson in Pesach Sheni, and Hashem shall help, we should all be inspired, we should be able to elevate ourselves, we should be able to return, we should be able to connect, we should be able to do tshuva, and we should be zoicha to be able to serve, and maybe even make Pesach Sheni this year in Yerushalayim, huh? Not bad, we could still do it, still got a chance. May we zoicha to the come Mashiach's Ken, Amen.